How's it going, Adrienne?
Hey Nick, how are you?
Doing well.
It
Um, you know,
Spring is officially over for me. Uh, I'm based in Vegas, and we just recorded the hottest day ever, or broke a record from like 2 years ago. So it's already 93 degrees here. So got that going for me. So it's gonna be
oof.
super warm. How is it by you?
Uh, a little better. It's more spring than summer now. Still got our kind of mild and peak days, so just been enjoying the warm weather when it arrives, but also relishing the cooler weather. It's a little gray out today, but I'm in my basement, so I can't really see anyway.
Nice, nice. Well, for everybody joining, hello, welcome to the very first live stream of the year for Viam. Yay! I'm Adrienne. I'm one of the newer senior developer advocates here, and I'm here with my colleague Nick.
Hi there, I'm Nick. I have been a developer advocate here at VM for about a year and a half now, and it's been a while since we've done some of these live streams, and I'm excited to get back at it again. It's a lot of fun to be able to kind of share what we're working on and have this more interactive session going on.
Totally. I'm excited to kind of just build through this together today and build it live. We're doing it live. So, yeah. But first, before we get into all of that, we have some housekeeping items, but one really exciting one. So, for everybody watching, if you want to win a rover to kind of celebrate our first thing, rover, this. Oh, rover. If you want to win one of these, we have a giveaway happening. So, what we would love for you to do is to obviously watch this live stream. We're going to go through and build a computer vision powered self checkout. And you'll see there's a little QR code that's next to my head where we have a Codelab that actually takes you step by step to do the same thing that we're about to do live today. So we ask that you do this Codelab and take a screenshot of yourself holding a drink. Here's one of the test drinks we have. So take a drink, a screenshot with the drink with the bounding box around it, correctly labeled ideally, and share that on social. Share it on Twitter, X, LinkedIn, or on Instagram, and make sure you tag VM in it. Otherwise, we can't find you and we can't count your submission. We will be holding this until the end of April. So this is open until April 30th, which means you have plenty of time to get through the Codelab and build your own checkout. And yeah, make sure you tweet out that picture or share on social. And on May 1st, we will pick a winner for this particular rover. So do the Codelab, take a screenshot of yourself, and then tweet it out on social and tag VM by April 30th, 11 p.m. Pacific time. And then we will choose a winner on May 1st, and then you can win this. Easy.
About how long do you think the code lab takes there, Adrian?
So the Codelab should take about an hour. It's not too difficult at
Yeah.
all. It's there. There's a lot of pre-built stuff and modules that you can use, which makes this a really easy to follow Codelab, and you can do it at the end of your day or on the weekend. So it'd be cool.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited to see what sort of drinks people share too, because I mean, it's a
Yeah.
wide variety out there,
Oh yeah.
as we're about to get into today.
Nice. Well, that's my housekeeping item. Let's talk about what's new at VM, Nick.
Yeah. So this isn't like brand new, but been coming out in recent months, and one of my favorite features that I'm starting to even explore lately. So while we're going to be walking through how to train a model using kind of like what's called a happy path flow for VM, where there's no coding required, there's a lot of like drag and drop sort of features that you can have. If you want to expand past that, and you have some experience with some Python, and you have some experience with some other training frameworks besides what we support in that happy path, you can create your own custom training scripts to run on the same infrastructure with that same sort of end-to-end machine learning deployment, feedback flow that we're going to be showing off today. And it's something I'm starting to explore, and I think it's really awesome to be able to see how we can still use that infrastructure, still be able to deploy straight back to the machine after we're done with it. with the flexibility that you might want, and to maybe explore and experiment with other different features. Maybe if you know what hyperparameters are and you know what sort of like iterations you want to do, you have that freedom now to go and develop a bunch of custom trading scripts and deploy them to the registry and even share them publicly for other people to use. And that might be something coming up soon.
Sweet. I know that's going to be super useful. I know there are a couple people in our Discord community who this would have definitely helped them out. So it's awesome to see that it's live, and I can't wait to see what people build with it.
Hmm.
All right. So now we're going to get into the meat of it. You're here to learn how to build a self-checkout, and we want to show you basically what you're going to be building. So we're going to show you what it's going to look like, working. Finished product. Here we go. So we are going to go over to my checkout over here. Let me get this up. So you can see this is me. This is my CV checkout, and there's my live feed and the vision service. And so if we hold up any drinks here,
Nice.
sweet. This correctly identifies as a Spindrift Pog. I forget. Passion fruit orange guava, best flavor ever.
Pog. All right. That's great.
Yes. So there's the confidence level, right? So I got a couple more drinks here. Just run through all the drinks here. So I got a San Pellegrino peach. It's about 60% confident that that's that. What else I got here? Got a Topo Chico blueberry.
Ooh, very nice.
We got some Sprite for those sugar fans here. The real one, the cane sugar bottled sodas.
Wow.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
And let's see. We just had a housewarming party, so I have a lot of drinks. So we have a Coke bottle here.
Nice.
Got
oh, looking good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Looking good. I guess my laptop wants a Coke.
Yeah.
And got some Fanta here.
Oh, that's interesting. The angle seems to kind of affect it a little bit. That's fun.
Right. So it's kind of funny. It's like sometimes it'll detect it. Sometimes it had trouble with the Topo Chico drinks. So for example, I have a bottled one here, right? Bottled Topo Chico. But you can see the logo here. Initially, when I trained the model, it was having trouble with detecting this Topo Chico.
Oh.
Because it's like, oh, I see the logo. It must be this one. And I'm like, no, you're wrong. But anyway, so this is what we're going to be building. We're going to be showing some drinks, your favorite drinks. We're going to train a custom model. And, you could port this out to a machine that basically says, oh, I detect these drinks, and this is how much we're going to charge you for it. So let's go ahead and do that.
Seems a little easier than trying to scan every single one if you can just plop a bunch of them in front of the camera, right?
Definitely. Or if you're like, sometimes when we first had the self-checkout era, it was like always fumbling for the barcode. Sometimes you can't
like,
find
which one's
it.
right as well.
Yeah.
Like there's always like one from the store, one from the manufacturer. I just scan all of them, see what happens.
Totally. Right. So let's go ahead and build this from scratch, and we'll start it and have you go through building your version, Nick, since mine is already done.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
So first thing we need is a machine in VM, right? We need this whole encompassing thing. So what are you going to name your machine?
I'll say Nick's checkout in this case.
Nice. All right. So now we have this overall encompassing machine, and we're just going to connect it now. Basically, we are installing VM server right on the machine that you're going to use as your checkout. So are you using your Mac right now, or any kind of board?
I am on my Mac laptop right now. So since I actively work with VM server pretty much every day, then it's already on there. I don't need to go through this brew sort of setup here. But I'm just going to download the credentials for this machine and copy my path here. I'll move over to my my terminal. So I use WesTerm and ZellaJ for any fans out there. And so I'll just paste that into here. See it get started. I can see I have my URL here for my machine. And then hopefully we'll see this come online. Hey, I'm connected.
Sweet.
Amazing.
So this essentially allows us to work with VM server, establish that connection with the machine, or in other cases you can use a board as well,
Mhm.
and that's how we can interact with the machine that we're going to be using with.
Nice.
So great. So we have this empty machine, and now we just need to add a couple components to it. So first, I would imagine we need something to like view the drinks, right? And
Yeah,
to me, that says webcam. So is there like a component that we can add for
I
that?
believe so. Let's go search for webcam. Looks good. We'll just call
Sweet.
it camera one for now.
All right. And in order to configure this component, we need the video path of any of the devices that are connected
Mm.
to our machine. So either you know that by heart. I feel like you know that by heart. Do you know that by heart?
I'm sure it could take its best guess.
uh,
But given I have actually several cameras attached to my, laptop right now, since I have my, like, webcam I'm here, I have the one built into my laptop, and, for those that have iOS devices as well, maybe you know this, like, your phone and other devices can act as webcams, so sometimes that can come up too. It's kind of a gamble which one will come up first.
nice. So, well, luckily we have this super easy discovery service that we can
Mm,
use. Uh, yeah, definitely saved that.
alrighty.
And what it does is basically find what you said, any connected and available devices that are connected to the machine that you have configured, right? So I
Excellent,
see
yeah.
there's a FaceTime camera there, the built-in one. You have your Logitech Brio, Logitech Stream Cam, which that's what I'm using right now to talk to
Mm.
everybody. So which one are you going to use?
I guess I'll use my nicer camera, which is the Brio here.
Got it. So
Grab
grab that.
that,
Hmm.
bring it over here, hit save again.
Nice. We can
Hopefully.
confirm that's working. Ah,
Hey, look, it's me again.
dual Nick. Whoa. It's all symmetrical. It's kind of cool.
All right, I'm gonna get rid of this service now as well, since I don't need it anymore. Not that it
Yes.
hurts. It's just
Yeah.
help for the sake of cleanliness.
I like that. Yeah. I like keeping the machines clean. That way
Mhm.
it's not as confusing. All right. So we got a webcam. Now we need to, I'm assuming, capture the images of
Mm,
the drinks, right? So
sure.
in order for us to train a model, we need to capture some test data. And then later on, we're going to use the TensorFlow Lite or Lite RT model now to train our custom model. But in order to do that, we need to capture some stuff. So we have the camera configured, which is our eyes. Yeah, let's definitely add a data capture service here.
Oh, right. I need that data management service as well. So
Yeah.
let's go add that here.
So remind me again, what is the difference between the data capture and the cloud sync for this data manager component?
Right. So our data capture is going to set up, all right, should we be capturing data across all the different components that want to configure, capturing data from individual components or services
Mm,
versus Cloud Sync will tell us when we want it to actually sync back to VM Cloud.
I
And
see.
so our capturing is turned on for all of them versus having to configure, each individual data capture on depending on how granular we want to get. So I had multiple
Mm,
components, and I just want to say, all right, stop capturing for now. Maybe I'm debugging something, or um, I'm trying to work on, and I'm moving it somewhere. I don't need to be capturing data across that. Um, then I can turn that off for all of the components or all of the machines. And then the cloud sync, I can just turn off if I don't need to be sync anymore. It will always saved to your local directory at least, which is great. So that way, if my machine ever goes offline, it's still being saved onto the device. And then when Cloud Sync gets a connection again, it'll now sync that back up to VM Cloud and then remove those old files when I don't know no longer need them.
gotcha. That is
Mhm.
super helpful if you decide, sometimes you lose network connectivity, or depending on how fast your interval is, you can always kind of assure that it's going to be there eventually
Yeah, even
consistent.
my Verizon Fios connection sometimes just never know what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Cool. So now that we have that in place, we can start capturing some images. So I
mm.
wonder, what frequency should we set that at? Maybe let's get like 12, maybe 12 images per minute, or maybe a few more.
12
So,
images per minute. Okay, so a hertz that we're measuring in right now is basically 1 second.
okay.
So we can say for if we're going to do 12
Point
per
two,
minute, yeah, let's
point
just try. So, hey,
point
look at that.
two.
12 times a minute. That's good to see that there. Very helpful.
Nice.
And then I'm just going to say JPEG since we're capturing kind of like photos
Mm-hmm.
instead of like, I don't know, PNGs feel more like I'm capturing, a graphic of sorts.
Gotcha.
And so I'll go ahead and save this.
Okay. And so now I guess we need to take some photos, right? So right
Yeah.
now it is essentially taking around 12 pictures per minute. And so, yes, show us your best Vogue pose, Nick. You're doing a LaCroix commercial. You're like super happy. Like, which one is this flavor? What flavor is this one?
This
Strawberry?
was the strawberry peach
You
sparkling
really
water. So
like
I have my whole
strawberry
collection of
peach.
LaCroix here. Yeah.
So we basically need to get about 10 pictures per drink, right?
Yeah.
That's the recommended amount of test data we would need for anything that we're going to detect in our model.
Right.
And I see you doing all the different angles, which is great. That way it can learn. Oh no, what is it going to
Got
do?
two.
There's
Yeah.
two. What is that other flavor?
So this is pure, which means nothing, which
What
is
does
like
that
most
even
LaCroix, but
mean?
yeah, it's just basically no natural essence. It's just going to be nothing on top of it. Uh, it's nothing waved over the can to make it seem like there was something being flavored to it.
I feel like
Let's see. Do we
that's,
want to recognize like an upside down can maybe? Label
would
this
that
too. I'm
would
not
that
going to
make
open
a
these now that I'm
difference?
shaking them everywhere, but
Don't forget about that, yeah.
yeah,
You're gonna be done with this stream and you're like, I'm ready
I'm a
for
little
a
thirsty.
LaCroix.
All right, let's see.
All
All right, let's
right.
grab. I have a couple more here. So I also
Nice.
have a passion fruit, maybe not as much as what was the Pog one again? It was like passion fruit
Pog,
guava for spinach.
yeah, passion fruit, orange, guava. It's a pretty
Yeah.
popular mix. I know there's like a lot of Hawaiian drinks that have this same
Mm-hmm.
mix. So that's why I call it Pog. I don't know if anybody else says Pog. Do you say Pog?
I've never heard Pog before, other outside of
Really?
like Twitch.
Maybe that's
Yeah,
a West Coast thing. I don't know.
could be.
We'll see.
It's like soda, pop, Coke, that whole thing, right?
Yeah, true,
Yeah.
true.
This
Interesting.
design always gives me the the old 90s like cups.
Yes, the little
Yeah.
swish.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
This color scheme basically gives me that sort of vibe. Outside of like the pink, but the other parts of it just I love it. All right, let's how can I see what I've captured so far, I wonder?
Great question. I feel like you
Right.
probably have a lot. So, since we had Cloud Sync turn on, and since it is likely syncing back at that interval we have, uh, definitely first maybe turn off data capture. That way you don't have some random
Yeah.
like in
Good thought.
action
Yeah,
data shots. Yeah. And here we can go over, if you go over to the data section of the VM app,
got it.
move that out of the way. We know. Oh, there we go. So
Hey,
here we have all data capture possible ever, right? You can
mhm.
filter by location, you can filter by machine. So anytime you're capturing any type of data through the VM platform, you can access it here. Is that right?
Looks like it. Yeah, look, these are all machines that exist under this organization. I can filter
Mhm.
by my location, so I can look at like workshops here. Let's see, Nick's checkout, apply, and see all these. Nice.
Nice. So, in order to train a custom model for you, we got to pick about 10 photos each of each flavor you had.
Mm,
So, yeah, definitely select all the ones you want to use for the model.
right. I also know I can hold Shift and then select a bunch of them that way.
Nice. Oh, hold on, back up. Sorry, that's my fault. We
Oh,
need to create a data set first, and then you can add it to the data set.
got it. All right.
So, let's go to data sets. And yeah, create one. As you can see, we have a couple test ones. Those are some of mine when I was testing out mine.
I'm just gonna call
LaCroix
it LaCroix.
detector. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Cool.
Just
All right.
that's what
So
I'm
now we
capturing
have
right now.
a space to save them in, right? So yeah,
Hmm.
go back to data, do the same thing, get all the test data that you want. Remind me again, what is that shortcut so that you could select them all rather
I
than
can
clicking the
hold Shift And then so once I select one, I can hold shift and then select the last
Oh,
one that I want to include in that.
so it's like the
Um,
typical shortcut
yeah, I
that
need to
applies everywhere.
reload this
Okay.
to grab. It needs
The new
to
data set.
new
Yeah.
data set.
Okay.
Uh,
So yeah,
there.
let's grab that, add to data set, and
LaCroix.
bam. Sweet. Now let's check out your data set. Let's go to LaCroix. LaCroix. I don't know. Awesome.
Right. I got
So
27
now
images. I might need to add more. We'll see.
we might, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a good start. And so once we have this, like, I'm sure we could just send it off and train and be like, here, figure it out. But
Yeah.
we can definitely help it and make it a little bit faster by annotating and, describing what drink is actually there and
Ooh,
telling
that's
it
a weird
where.
ratio.
So let's draw some bounding boxes. Let's
Okay.
label and draw some bounding boxes around the drinks that you have. That way, when the model trains, it can know what drink it is and roughly what it might look like.
Yeah. So I've created these before, these labels.
Okay.
And so, experimenting with my own LaCroix detector in the past.
Hmm.
And so I'm going to hold command
Hmm.
on Mac OS, and I think it might be
Windows
probably the
key.
Windows key
Yeah.
on non Mac OS devices, or super key if you're on Linux devices.
Hmm.
Um, and so I can draw my little bounding box there and see that I have my LaCroix passion fruit labeled
Nice.
under my
Now
data set.
for the bounding boxes, how
Mm,
close do they have to be? Like, do you need to give some allowance to
mm,
it? Do you need like a 10% buffer? Because if it's too tight, sometimes the model might not work out as you expect, right? So do you have
right.
any like guidance on how to draw the bounding boxes?
I, for the most part, when I'm looking for this, I'm trying to it depends on, like, what I'm capturing. If I wanted to recognize, like, the whole can, for example, versus a,
Hmm.
like, particular label. So, like, you were talking about
Hmm.
the Topo Chico, before, like, we had the blueberry versus, like, the plain, I guess, or
Yeah,
original.
just
And
regular
so
versus blueberry.
like, if you wanted to only capture the label, is that gonna be the most identifying part of it?
Mm,
Depends on the use case as well. Like, if I need the whole bounding box because I wanna keep it in frame, for example, if I'm using something like creating some sort of camera to keep track of everything in frame, or do I only care about the label because, for example, we're creating a checkout. So if I only care that I recognize that this is a passion fruit,
mm,
LaCroix, I don't necessarily need my fingers in there to recognize the whole can. I really
mhm.
just wanna find those identifying features for my bounding box.
Gotcha.
And so maybe I'll just keep it at this level, and
Okay.
prevent any other sort of on features that shouldn't matter in this case. Um, so let's see if I go to the next one, I can it's going to keep my same label that I've been working on. And again, trying to find, since the bounding boxes are rectangular, there's no angles to them. I'm really just looking for those features that I want to pull out of this image, um,
Mm,
and to train the model on. And so ideally, it recognizes, like, the coloring, the text in a way. It can't read the text, but it can hopefully recognize those patterns in the text,
mm.
as it's doing its training. Gotta love these, screenshots, these random, um, candid camera formats here.
Like I said, should have posed both.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that's a brilliant one, great. Um this case, my fingers are gonna be in it, but again, it's gonna be pulling out those, like, features that it finds across the patterns of
Mm,
different images that we provided from its pre-training set. Since the VM training is based on, it's more of fine-tuning rather than, like, completely from scratch, because completely from scratch, we would need, like, hundreds, if not
yeah.
thousands of, like, images of cans, which we're not gonna be collecting today. So instead, we're gonna use a base model that knows how to extract features from images, and apply that to our data set, in this case, cans of
Well,
LaCroix.
and luckily for everyone watching, that's good because now we just have to have, like we said, the minimum of 10 per
Right.
beverage that we want to detect. So,
I see. So I can adjust it still after I'm done. Like, if the first time I create the bounding box, I'm like, actually, I want to adjust this a little bit. I could just select it with my mouse, and then try to refine it to the features that I care about.
mm.
Let's see. Oh, I need to keep holding
Yeah, I do that
command
sometimes too.
until catches that. Looks like I have plenty of for the passion fruit.
All right. Do we have another drink that we can start labeling?
I think
I feel
so.
like you have 10.
Yeah,
You can always check that though, right? If you go back to your dataset overview.
I think so. Let's go check my data set and again.
So let's see.
So I have
Oh,
8 so far.
okay.
So let's keep going there.
Yeah, that's always super helpful. So I know if I need to do more or not. But every label, it auto counts for you in the data set. It's also good to know if you have any unlabeled images in your data set.
Right. And I mean, as you said, the minimum. Oh, maybe I can catch this one. This will be a fun challenge. Um, as you said before, the so we have it recognizes how many are of each type or each label are included in the data set. And since VM's like model training, once you have at least 10, as you said before, um, it won't let us train without at least 10 of each label.
Mm,
And so those labels can be shared, as we're going to see, across multiple images, or you can have multiple in an image. And so you can, if you have a little photo shoot of all the cans together, you can do more without having to create individual photos for each one. In this case, we're trying to put it in more realistic environments. Maybe we'll see the common lighting that we're using it in.
mhm,
Um, and we can always add to this over time as well. So it looks like this one is our strawberry peach.
mm. That sounds good.
Yeah.
And then there's like a sliver of the pure one. That still gets me.
Yeah.
Like pure sounds like it would be subjective. Like
Yeah.
what's pure? In the audience, what is a pure tasting water to you? I'd love
Is
to
it like
know.
mountain water, Perrier?
Sparkling water for, my Europeans. Like once you have sparkling water, you can't go back.
With bubbles or without
With
bubbles? With
or
gas?
like
As like,
yeah,
I don't know if that's just Germany that I've heard that in, or, um,
Mitspodel. Yeah.
is that
Yes.
Mischpoodle?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Heavy,
I'm gonna
heavy
keep changing
bubbles.
between these, even though maybe I could also just go through all of the ones labeled just the strawberry peach, or just label the pure. Um, let's see. What sort of features do I want out of this one?
I wonder how it's going to do with that one because the Lacoste logo is fairly, well, obviously very similar across
Mhm.
the flavors. So
Ideally, the
interesting.
color of the can helps us a bit,
Yeah.
across these, and thankfully they're fairly unique across the different LaCroix cans.
Hmm. The
So I
other one
think
has a cute strawberry on it. So
right.
upside down. It's going to be like, what the heck is this?
And that helps us know that we're not overfitting, our model to just what, like, our ideal situation is, like, because people can place cans and items in all different orientations, when they're working on, when they're using it in the real world. Um,
Mm,
so having a real world data set versus some sort of carefully tuned, or even using sort of like images from the internet, you never know what that sort of experience is going to be like. Um,
yeah.
all right, let's,
I think we're almost done. We can kick off our model training soon.
yeah.
Let's see. Strawberry peach.
Again, looking for those particular features that I wanted to identify.
That's good to know because my model could definitely be tweaked to be a bit more confident. So I just literally put bounding boxes across just the drink, more like
Mm,
focusing on detecting the drink, the whole drink. But
right.
it's good to know that the identifying features will likely help. Also did a little photo shoot with my drinks to try to remove any potential visual clutter.
Mm.
Maybe that helped.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to compare. Like, are they more confident in a photo shoot
Mhm.
session then, or are they going to be,
Yeah.
um, actually? And could you remove those and see how it trains too? So, It's nice to be able to, again, experiment and keep using this without having to know how to code, know how to do a bunch of and have to update a script every time that you need to I don't know, try a different version of it or try new data. I think we
Definitely.
all right, let's see.
So this is the little bit of a tedious part, but
Yeah,
for only requiring 10 images per, I think it's worth the effort.
yeah, we're still getting it done
Mm,
quicker than if I had to, format all these images and
mhm.
create like, I've been working through some other ways of creating models in the past, and uh, you sometimes have to just create these manual directories and create the formats and everything yourself, and that can be very tedious.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Do we have
Yeah,
10 of
there's a nice.
each?
Let's see.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. There are no more
Oh,
images. Let's go back to
nice.
our data set then.
Wasn't too bad. Let's reload
Reload that.
that.
Like
So,
7 on the
ooh,
pure, so maybe I'll just try it on our strawberry and passion fruit until I can get more data,
sounds
for
good.
yeah.
All
So if
right,
I
let's
go to
kick off
train a
that
model,
training.
yeah,
Do a
go to
new
TensorFlow
one
Lite,
or light RT.
yeah. Yeah, that new Lite RT. So here's a little warning. Oh, we have to have at least 10, so
Mm,
I'll
all
remove
right,
that for
fine.
now. Yeah.
Pure is out. Pure is out.
Yeah. And let's
All right.
kick off our
Let's
training.
Sweet.
Alright,
So, yeah, so that's going to
working
take some
away.
time. So, let's go back to our machine and see how we would actually add this. Also, through the magic of TV, we are going to have a model that's ready so
Yeah,
that our folks don't have to wait for that model to be trained. But that's how
yeah.
you would kick
Even
off
10 minutes isn't that
training.
bad, but, we
Yeah,
wanna move along, right?
for sure.
Yeah,
So in order to use that, we need to add an ML model component or a
sure.
service. Yes. So let's search for that.
So we have a couple of different ones. So we want we said we're trying to TF Lite, right? So
Yep.
let's grab
So
our
let's use
TF Lite
that one.
CPU. Yeah.
Hmm. So here is where we can select our model, right?
Mhm.
So let's go ahead and
Quite a few models. Yeah.
lots of testing going on. So we
Mhm.
can use either our own, which would be listed under my organization, or we can choose from the VM registry, which I thought is pretty cool. So if somebody has
Yeah.
a model for something else that you might be wanting to work with, I see plant disease there, or
Mhm.
pet feeder, or efficient cocoa. Those are all ready for you to use. But let's use our custom model though. So we'll use, say, Adrian. Yeah. Do you have any of the drinks that I have so that we can test that out?
I think I do. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll, we'll try it. We'll do it
Let's see what
live.
happens. Yeah.
But basically, yeah, you can choose your model here. As you can
Mm.
see, I've done some multiple trainings of that
Yeah.
particular model, but that's nice because it means we can use a particular version of that model. So for sure, the one April 8th one is the one, the 1329 timestamp. Yeah,
Mm.
that's
This one?
definitely the one I know works. But
Alright.
that's the one that has been pre-trained on the similar drinks. And so
See
that's
what
how we
latest gives
can,
us. Yeah.
yeah, we can use those models. And then this allows us to access the model. The last part we need to add is the actual vision service, right? So the thing
Mm.
that
Mhm.
interprets what we are seeing. And a really great way that I understood this was we have the camera, right, which is what
Mhm.
sees into the world, and the cameras what allows the machine to see the things, but the vision service, what we're adding now, is what allows the machine to interpret what it's seeing. So that's
Right.
always a helpful way for me to remember that. All right, so now we're saying we're going to use the ML model component for the vision service and minimum confidence threshold. So this is basically what, depending on what the model, how confident the model is, it'll show right in our
Mhm.
results. Is that what
Right.
that is for?
Just for our test panel itself. So, um,
Mm.
It might also, I think this, yeah, so results below the cutoff will not be shown. This should
Hmm.
also affect when we're using it. If we wanted to use it in with our SDKs or any other application, should also update what gets returned there too. So it's let's configure for both cases.
Sweet. All right, let's save and let's see what happens.
All right. All right. So it's going through. All right. We got our camera. Change that to
Nice.
live. Certainly nothing. Let's see if we have. Oh,
Okay.
all right. Thinks it's a spindrift pog. Let me see if I can create the label. Interest. Oh,
Uh,
is it something else?
almost. So
Oh, let's
this
try
is
something.
probably because of the sheen of the can, right?
Yeah.
Also, slightly different lighting conditions,
Mm-hmm.
but it is detecting drinks. That's a good
Yeah.
thing.
How confident are these things? Oh, it's very confident.
Wow.
Let's
I would like to be that confident in life. Self assured.
see.
Does it think appear? So that's interesting to
I think
me.
it's
All
what if
of
it's
the
the
drinks
can shape that's doing it
that you're
too?
showing. Yeah. Let's see. I wonder, maybe let's try adding another, or actually let's try adding that look, the other LaCroix drink, the pure. We needed 2 more images for that, right?
Yeah, we did. All right. Let's.
So instead of using the data capture data manager,
Mm.
we can just take some screenshots from our test panel here, which is really nice.
Oh, right. There
So
we go.
sweet. So if we take a couple and find our data set to use. So I think we had 7, right? So we needed about 3
Yeah.
more. So and 1 more. Sweet.
All right. Let's see.
So
Go
well, this
back
is
to
good because
our data
yeah,
set.
we can kick off a new training model for this. So we added a couple more photos. Uh, hmm. We definitely added a few more
Yeah.
photos. Let's try that again. Let's see if it captured. Interesting.
Um,
Maybe let's go back to, or yeah, do we have a couple of the pure that's already taken?
dude, these have been.
These have been annotated already.
Yeah.
I mean, we can always add some more, but that is a little, let's see. Let's go
Oh, I
back
wonder if
to,
this is because. Wait, what is it? No, I should add it straight to the data set, but
is, is it because we have the data capture on?
maybe.
It looks like it because it's still capturing images of you, right?
No, data capture is not on right now. These are old pictures, which I can remove because I no longer need
Hmm.
them.
When we go back to our machine, I see you have it off. Okay.
Mm.
Let's try that again. That is a little odd.
Yes, I know this was just working.
I know. Let's try that.
Again, we're doing it live. Now,
Oh, maybe try the changing the live to manual refresh really quick
hmm,
and then try it.
there we go. Just 27 images now.
Interesting.
Let's make sure.
Let's see if it's getting added.
Oh,
There
there
we
we go.
go.
All right. Just a
Just to
slight.
keep things interesting on the live stream. All right, let's take 2 more. Nice. Sweet. So we just added a few more photos of the pure since we didn't train the model with it last time.
Mhm.
And so now we just got to do the same thing. We got to annotate that with the proper label. And once we do that, we can kick off a new version of the model, right? This time with the LaCroix Pure.
Right. So let's see if we can speed run these ones. Okay, so those are done.
So we have a question from the audience. What is the difference between ML Model 1, the component or service rather, and Vision 1? Well, I know that the Vision 1 service, this is what is actually being used to interpret what is being seen via the camera. And ML Model 1 service is what allows us to take advantage or use the custom model that we have created. It doesn't have to just be the custom models either. It could be any of them from the VM registry. But if you want to use a model, this is what the Vision service is dependent on.
Mhm.
Does that sound right? Want to
Yeah,
add
yeah.
anything to that?
Yeah, and the nice thing about them being two separate services is that the vision ML model vision service is compatible with several different types of ML model services themselves. So you could trade it out for, as we saw some of the options previously, the let's see, let's look through these again real quick. We saw TensorFlow CPU, which is like full TensorFlow rather than TF Lite or Lite RT, as you mentioned.
Mhm.
There's the Torch CPU for PyTorch models, Onyx CPU, or the ML model Triton's service for folks using like a Jetson and a bunch of the NVIDIA hardware there. And so these are all compatible with the
Mm.
ML model vision service itself. So that way you're not trying to, trying to configure the having several different vision services for each one of them. Instead, you get the same interface for working with any sort of ML model backend, and you can create even other custom ML model backends as well to be compatible with the vision service.
That is nice. So we're not limited to TensorFlow Lite. If it's any of these that are compatible, you have the ability to use them within any VM machine.
So I noticed that our original training job is finished in about 8 minutes. So maybe I'll
Hmm.
try that one now.
Let's do it.
This other one. So let's grab the
Maybe we need to reload
reload. Yeah.
potentially. Really wants to tell you you're
I
sharing
know.
that screen, right? Like, are you sure you know that you're sharing this tab, Nick? I just want to let you know.
All right, we got our LaCroix detect.
Sweet. Let's change the let's change it to 20. Yes, that's what I had to do with my initial model. So, but let's see. Let's test it out.
Oh,
Good. We got a feed. This is our vision service now. So let's see.
hey, that's
Oh,
a bit more accurate.
hey.
Yeah. So it looks like
Nice.
the thing. So you can see the way the bounding boxes come up. The fingers are um,
Yeah.
part of it a little bit. We can
Right.
see 90%.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's like super
interesting. That's
also,
more confident that it's passion fruit than it is strawberry peach.
which that
Um,
is interesting. Well,
yeah.
maybe it thinks the little heart is the strawberry.
Let's.
Let's
Oh, that's
see.
true. Yeah.
Save. Yeah, let's bump up that confidence threshold. Can't just have any willy-nilly guesses here.
All right, it's gonna reload.
Hmm.
All right.
So interesting. I noticed the same issue with my drinks that are like in aluminum cans.
Mm,
Depending on the lighting and depending on the shadows, it thinks there's two of them there, but
yeah,
that can always be ruled out with like brighter test photos,
we didn't have pure
visually
in there.
cleaner ones. Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
right.
That
That
was
was the
the
first
initial
one.
model, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely
There
very
you
confident in
go.
that passion fruit option.
Right.
But let's see if I can get. So it looks like I need more training data for the strawberry peach to let it
That makes
catch.
sense. Yeah, I still
Yeah,
can't kind of tell the difference between the strawberry or the heart. But that's pretty neat. Like it's already detecting the drink. It's very confident on passion fruit
yeah,
and it can, find it. That was fairly quick. We are like 40, 50 minutes in and we built a fully working computer vision checkout with at least those drinks.
yeah. I wanna try another one I was been playing around with before,
Sure.
because I don't know if you've seen, but there's this new flavor, called Sunshine, which I think
What is that?
LaCroix has just given up on
What does
making,
that
like,
even mean?
reasonable sort of
What is sunshine
flavors.
flavor? What does
Don't know,
sunshine
it
mean?
seems somewhat sunflowery, maybe, like, sunflower seeds of sorts. That's the closest thing I can think of, and, like, I've tried it.
What does it
It's
taste like? Sunflower seeds?
I guess, like, that's the if LaCroix tastes like anything, it kind of tastes like that. So,
All right.
let's
I
see
mean,
if this recent model that we've kicked off here, I'm
let's
gonna go for
change.
50% confidence, just
All right.
see what we get out of it.
Did you change the model by chance?
I
I
did,
just went.
yes, I swapped it out
Oh, okay.
for new drinks, is what I called it. Um, and so we'll see what we get here.
All right. Might have
Let's
to there we go.
There we go. See
Mm,
anything?
the reflection might be too bright on the
Yeah,
can,
definitely not
maybe.
confident. Let's try lowering the confidence level a little bit.
Let's reload that. Oh, oh,
Oh,
it thinks
whoa.
it's a Coke. It
It's
thinks
a
it's a
Coke.
Coke.
I think this is a big bottle of Coke. Let's see.
Such
See if
as
it still gets this one. Wow. So I think this is what so this is trained off a larger data set that you had before, and I added my own stuff in there. So this could
mm,
be an imbalance, I think, in our data set between the new drinks and the one that was just my LaCroix that I added in there.
that
Um,
sounds completely right.
so if we
Because
were to
I
go
definitely took a
explore,
bunch of my drink set. Yeah.
very interesting that it thinks it's a bottle of Coke, and I wonder if it's around like because it's clearly not. It's the shape or something in it, shadows, maybe like you were saying before. 'Cause if you go
Yeah.
look at like that data set that the new drinks were trained on, we can see here we have um, a bunch of different images, including some of our like sunshine ones, LaCroix.
Mhm.
We see
My
your
drinks
nice
here.
modeling here, our nice little photo shoot.
Yes.
Um,
Tried to capture different lighting angles
yeah.
and see if that helped with the drink detection at all. I will say it when I tested it out with just these, it didn't do as well as when the pictures included myself in it, which was
Mm.
odd to
Maybe
me,
the
but
lighting, I guess, like you said
it could
before.
be. Yeah. Yeah, I really tried here with
Yeah.
all the different angles.
We see kind of the imbalance like we were talking about before. So we have like
Oh, yeah.
30
So,
plus images of some of these
yeah.
versus at least 10. Um,
Mm,
so that can go a long way if you start seeing some similar sort of feedback on your own models. Like, all right, well, try to balance them out, try to make sure you have some good examples of maybe them together so they can it can differentiate between the two different types like we said before. So these are all
mhm,
again isolated, which is great for capturing a bunch, but may not be realistic to like I like some of these because they're more realistic to a bunch of them together, right?
mhm,
In certain situations. Like the stack there, that's really good.
mm, for sure. What I think if we switch back to your LaCroix model, that should work. What if
Mhm.
so right now I know this is running on your Mac. What
Right.
if we needed to like deploy this out? Say we had like a little pop up or something and we needed to sell drinks and I didn't want to, we forgot our laptop. Could we just like spin this up on a different board, like a Pi or
I
something else like that?
think we could.
Okay.
I mean, I can't just deploy my laptop out in production. I think work would love that.
Yeah.
Um, so I do have a little Raspberry Pi set up on my bench next to me, and
Mm,
so we have I have the video path set to nothing, which
mm,
is easier to do on a Pi because I only have one camera connected to it. And so we
mm,
can see what that looks like from here. This is a
mm,
view from my workbench to the right of me. I have a little power supply and a in pieces arm at the moment. So let's go through the same setups we had before. So I already have a camera set up with my webcam.
Mhm.
Let's go and speed run our ML model, TF Flight CPU, add that in there. Going to grab our LaCroix
Mhm.
detect, just like that. Save once that gets started working to download the module and then get everything set up. While
Mhm.
that's working, I will go through and grab my vision, ML model, select model 1, give it a decent confidence, save that.
Do you need to add the camera to your data or depends on for the
Oh,
vision
yeah,
service?
probably. Good call. Good call. Good call.
All right.
So let's see.
Just give it some time to configure. It's probably
Mhm.
reconfiguring the machine.
Yeah, we can go look at our logs too to see. Okay, hey, actually, robot reconfigured there.
There
I
we
know
go.
it's done now.
We're speed running, so we're just
Yeah,
doing it a little fast.
yeah. Go back to our service here, our test. Says nothing
Look
right
at that,
now.
right?
And
So
then let's grab our
passion
strawberry.
fruit. It likes the passion fruit one. uh, live. Let's
One second.
see. Mm-hmm. Ah, sweet. It it is. Yeah. Is this the no? This is the strawberry one, but it is thinking it's a passion fruit one. Let's see. So yeah, based
Well,
on
it's
the
interesting
lighting.
seeing, yeah, it's
Yeah.
strongly recognizing the like Croix part
Uh-huh.
of it as
Right,
like the
right.
features it's detecting. Um, so maybe like you said, maybe getting some more, and then like right now the camera is not at like it's a webcam. It's not really meant for close-ups as well. Um,
Mm. But
these Yeah, these are set up pretty interestingly.
But this is super cool because we literally just spun this up on the Pi. It's essentially the same setup. The only
Mhm.
difference here is that we're using a Pi as our machine rather than your laptop. And yeah, we basically deployed the same model and can use it immediately, which
Yeah,
is pretty
and
neat.
I don't know, maybe this is actually the latest one now, so we can see we have multiple versions as well.
Okay.
So this is actually
Nice.
using the latest one. Let me try playing our pure, see if it recognizes that as well.
All right, let's do one last test and then we actually made it within. We'll wrap up this live stream.
Hey, got the
Oh,
pure part of
hey,
it.
got the pure
Yeah,
part.
no,
Nice. And this is running on the Pi, right? Yeah, we're
yeah,
on the Pi machine, not your MacBook. That's
yeah.
pretty awesome. Well, that is cool. So we basically built the computer vision part, and the only thing else needed to really extend this is maybe creating like a small web app that
Mm,
could be a kiosk interface to make it a full checkout, right? We
right,
could use something like any of our SDKs that we have. We have for example, that in our TypeScript SDK, we actually have a template, a create robot app template that you could just spin up very quickly, have a UI that emulates a self checkout, and add this on top of this machine that we just built.
yeah,
Uh,
and then even if you wanna go even further, you can create, like, a mobile app to go with it too.
mm,
You can create, like, a self-checkout mobile app, something like, the Apple Store or something where you can just kind of, like, pull up your phone, take a picture of it, and then there you go.
Sweet. Well, that was really quick, number 1, which is
Mhm.
kind of surprising, but in a good way. Like
Yeah,
we built something like that live in less than an hour, which is crazy. And yeah, everybody else you can do it yourself. You can create this particular checkout with your own drinks. And just to remind everybody, if you do that, if you do the Codelab, which you see the little QR code in the corner here, you can win a Viam rover. So pretty neat. You can experiment with that. You can extend the rover and play around with it. And in order for you to win this rover, we just ask that you build the same checkout that Nick and I just built live with you today. Go through the Codelab yourself and then take a screenshot of yourself in that little vision service box with your favorite drink and showing the little bounding box around it. And just share that on social. Make sure you tag VM in it on LinkedIn or on Instagram or on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. You need to tag us because otherwise we can't find your submission.
Yeah.
But yeah, do the Codelab, take the screenshot. You have until April 30th to create this and send your submission. 11 p.m. Pacific time, April 30th is the deadline. And on May 1st, we will pick a winner and we'll definitely let you know, whether in our Discord community, on all of our socials, we'll let you know who the lucky winner is. And we'll get to see a whole gamut of drinks, Nick.
Hopefully, yeah. The when you say tag us, you're talking about at BM Robotics at most places, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
for Twitter and Instagram, it's definitely at VM Robotics,
Okay.
and on LinkedIn, it is VM Inc.
Cool.
So,
Nice.
mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get on Blue Sky one day, and we'll be able to support that one too.
Soon, soon.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we also have some upcoming events. So let me pull that up really quick. Yes. So if you go to our website here, it shows all of our different community events that we are doing. Let me stop sharing this one and go here. So we definitely had this live stream, right? Which every one of you, thank you for joining us today. And we also have a couple meetups and talks where we will be present. So in April or this month, April 17th, we have the New York Hardware Meetup. It'll be at the VM office. So if you're in New York, definitely stop by. We have one of our good colleagues, Isha, who will be giving a talk and another live demo if you like live demos.
Yeah.
And Nick and I will be at several conferences coming up. So I will be in Miami. If you'll be in Miami and want to see another live demo, definitely visit the Shift Miami conference where I'll be giving a talk. And Nick, I believe you'll be at JS Nation in June, right?
Yes, I will be presenting remotely, but I'll be part of the action for both the in-person day and remote day. I'll just be online instead, and be showing off kind of like what it looks like to build VM from scratch. And
Ooh.
so, if you wanted to build VM in a weekend, in like, or as I call it, like the Hacker News, I could build it in a weekend version using full stack JavaScript. Join me and check out my talk there. It'll be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
I'll
Well,
also be at
that,
the New York Hardware Meetup, by the way. So we
oh,
can,
okay.
you know, you can chat to me about like what you're working on and what project ideas you have as well. Or if you're trying to get through this code lab, you should show me what you got already.
Yeah. Or discuss LaCroix
Yeah,
flavors. That will
your
also
favorite
be.
one. Yeah.
Well, I hope everybody learned something. I did this code lab, but I still learned something going through it with you, Nick. So this is really awesome. Thank you everybody for watching the first live stream. Are you cracking open a LaCroix right now to
Got my
celebrate?
passion fruit now. Yeah,
I'm gonna crack
go
open a
for it.
pog
Yeah.
too. Let's do. It's not cold because I've been testing on this since like last week, but
I get the mini fridge under your desk like me.
all right.
Mm.
So cheers.
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 Thanks for working
Thanks
on this with me.
everyone. See
See
you
ya.
all next time.